So here we have our Y-axis frame aluminum extrusions. We have a 410 millimeter 2 pieces and 308 millimeter 2 pieces. Here is our L bracket. We're going to take the M5-8 screw, insert it into the hole here, and use the M5 nut from this position and fasten it loosely to the screw. You can see there is still some room. Now we'll take one of our longer 410 millimeter extrusions and one of our shorter 308 millimeter extrusions. You'll notice that they'll come together like this, with the longer extrusion being on the underside of the shorter extrusion. Okay, we have our L bracket here, and we're going to slide this nut through into the aluminum extrusion groove like this. Make sure both sides are flush, and then we will slowly tighten our screw. Okay. Here we have completed the first part of the first step. We have affixed our two aluminum extrusions together using our L bracket. Notice the alignment of the aluminum extrusions is very flat. Everything is fitting closely together with the other pieces, and there is a clear 90-degree angle. We have completed assembling our Y-axis frame. All four corners are secured tightly. If you notice, if you push down on any one corner, the frame doesn't move at all. It's completely flat and level. You can notice all of the edges are flush. There's no extruding parts, and everything is very tightly secured. Here we have one of our 4 foots for our printer. We're going to take the M5x12 screw, insert it into the bottom of our foot, take the M5 nut, and fasten it loosely to the other side. Okay. We have our foot that has our screw secured inside of it, our completed Y frame. Now we will take our foot, carefully insert the screw into the groove, and tighten slowly. We've installed our 4 feet on our frame. Notice carefully the position of the feet at the end of the longer extrusion here. Locate in your kit the acrylic mounts that look like this. Notice there is a sticker on the face of them that can be removed on both sides. Using the acrylic mount that we just took those stickers off of, fasten 2 screws through the holes on the bottom and loosely secure them with nuts from the M5 bag. We've taken our 4 acrylic mounts and we've inserted the M5x12 millimeter screws fastened on the other side loosely with M5 nuts. Notice that we have 2 of our acrylic mounts with the notch on the left side and 2 of our acrylic mounts with the notch on the right side. Now we have affixed our 4 acrylic brackets to the frame. Looking carefully, we notice that the notches are facing outward from the frame in both directions. Under the frame, notice the notch fits flushly with the aluminum extrusion. Now that we have installed our 4 acrylic mounts to the frame, we will take our 410 millimeter smooth rod and install it through the hole in our acrylic bracket. Before we push it all the way through. Make sure to include your linear bearings. 2 for this rod, like this. Taking our acrylic cutout that's designed to fit on the end of our acrylic cutout mounted to the frame. Take one M3x20 screw and one M3 nut and securely fasten the cutout, the end stop, to the frame. Tighten securely with the Allen key. Like that. We have securely fastened each of the 4 end stops to the end of our acrylic mounts on the frame. And now our Z or Y axis is securely fastened in place, will not come out. And we still have free range of motion in our linear bearings. Locate in your kit the acrylic parts that look like these. You can remove the sticker from all of them. Like this. Taking an M3x16 screw, we will insert it into the end of the acrylic cutout, and taking an M3 nut, inserting it into the small cutout for it in this one. Slowly, carefully fasten and tighten your screw. Finish with the hex key until securely tightened. After we have screwed these screws in tightly and fastened both of these pieces to our mount, our bracket, taking an M8x30 nut, we will insert it into the hole, put our thing in there, tighten but not too tight so that we still have motion in our circular bearing. We will take an M5x12 nut and put it in the remaining hole. Loosely secure a M5 nut to that screw and repeat the process for the other side. Taking our bracket, we will fix it to the frame. We do not need to tighten because further adjustment may be needed. We have affixed our front bearing mount to the front of the frame. Notice the 2 linear bearings on the right side of our bearing mount and 1 on the left. We have not securely tightened our bearing mount because we may need to further adjust as we are installing the belt. Taking our first stepper motor mount, notice the 2 holes here. We will insert an M5x8 nut into the hole and secure with an M5x8 nut. Do this for both holes. Once the screws are in place, notice the orientation of the mount and install it towards the back of your frame. We want to be approximately 50 millimeters from our bearing mount on this side. Okay, This is going to be our first stepper motor installed. Notice it is about 40 millimeters in thickness. We will install it to our frame with our wire harness facing inside of the frame like this. We are going to use 4 M3 by 50 nuts and one by one slowly install all 4 screws. Taking one of the pulleys for our stepper motors, use our Allen key to loosen the nuts, and then we will take our pulley. Notice the gap between the stepper motor and the pulley being about 3 millimeters. After you are secured, you've measured your distance, secure the pulley with the... So we have secured our belt pulley to our stepper motor, and we tightened securely our 2 screws in our belt pulley. It is important to know that you've tightened them securely because we do not want to lose steps in our printing process later after we finished our... Now we will take our end stops. Notice our cord has 4 end stops and there are 4 connectors on the other side. To remove one, simply pull carefully. And you have removed one end stop. Now we will take one M2 by 16 screw, inserting it through the hole in our undercarriage clip. Take our end stop and fasten it to the thing there. Take our M2 nuts and tighten carefully on our... We have affixed our end stop to our undercarriage mount. Check to make sure you can hear it click and it sounds like it's working. Take our undercarriage mount. Notice the set with 2 holes and the set with 1 holes on the bottom. Taking our mount like this, fasten the undercarriage to the mount, take a screw and slide it. So we have taken our undercarriage, we've attached our belt anchor to it. If you can see closely, we have 2 screws attached to the bottom of this one. There. After that, we will take our end stop cable, put it here, and take one of our zip ties and securely fasten it. Like that. Okay. Now that we have securely fastened our zip tie, we'll take our printer, make sure all of your linear bearings are facing up, spaced out evenly with your holes like this, and then we will one by one screw in. So now we have loosely tightened our screws into our linear bearings. We're going to make sure that our undercarriage has free motion along the entire axis. After you are sure that there is free motion, you can go ahead and tighten each individual screw. Okay, like this. I'm gonna get every single one. Okay, we have firmly tightened all of our screws except for that one. And now we'll take our belt. Okay. Measure about half of your belt. Something like this. And make a cut in the end here. Put one aside. And now we will first turn our printer over, insert our belt into the holder, and pull it tight. Take the belt over, put it onto your belt pulley. Hold the undercarriage with one hand, pull the belt tight, and slide it into the belt holder. Make sure you cut the excess. So we have successfully installed our belt on our printer. Notice we have secured the end of our belt with a zip tie, and if we examine closely, we will see that our belt is even here, here, and here. When we push, there will be a light resistance on the belt, and everything is tightly and accurately sliding and moving freely. If you slide your build plate, notice the belt flowing evenly and straight across the bearing and across the pulley.